And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel. Today we're taking a look at Runestones from Rune and Queen Games. Runestones is a pretty generic name. The game looks a little generic. Runestones, collecting stones, get runes. Maybe 10 years ago that would have been a more interesting theme. As it is, meh. However, Rune has made some pretty cool games, and so Queen has put out some pretty neat stuff. I heard this was a deck builder of sorts, so I'm certainly interested to try it out. Here's how it plays. At the beginning of the game, each player is going to get a small deck of cards that match the druid that they're going to have. So whichever druid you get, you're going to get cards. You'll notice these cards have numbers on, and that will be important later. You're going to shuffle this deck, and you're going to draw 4 cards. Players will take turns, and on your turn, you can do one of 3 things. The first thing you can do is you can summon creatures. Summoning creatures is basically adding more cards to your deck. You're going to look at your hand. So this is my initial hand here, for example. I could use 1 blue or 2 blue, because this could be anything. Or I could spend 1, 2, 3, 4 red. I'll probably spend the red. You can buy as many cards as you want. So maybe I want to buy this card here, for which costs 3, and this card here, which costs 1. After I buy those, we slide the rest over, and we put these down, new cards. I'll take these cards, all the cards I spent and the cards I bought, put them in my discard pile, and draw up again. When my deck runs out, I'll take my discard pile, shuffle it, and put it back into my hand. The second action you can take is utilizing abilities. I can play 2 cards from my hand and do the ability on both of them. For example, this one here will give me 2 green gems. So I would just take those 2 green gems. And this one here lets me roll the die and get something. Hey, I get the top card from the creature pile. That's pretty cool. When you are done playing both of these cards, then the card with the lower number is put into your own discard pile, and the higher number is gotten rid of. If it's one of your cards, your druid cards, out of the game. If it's a creature card, then you'll put it into the main discard pile where other people can get it again. So for example, if I play these here, the 103 is going to be lost, but the 13 I'll get again. So whenever you play cards, maybe I want to play this one to give me points. I might play this card with a 13, but I'm not going to get this card again over the course of the game. Finally, the third thing that a player can do is forge artifacts. When you forge artifacts, you're going to discard these gems that you have. Whites are wilds if you get any of those. And I can discard 2 to get this one, 2 to get this one, 3 to get this one, which also lets me roll the die. 3 to get this one, which also gives me one of these pieces of ore here. 3 to get this one, 4 to get this one, which also gives me 3 points, or 4 to get this white one. These are always white. The rest of these, when you do it, you'll draw and put a new one there, which could be one of the different colors. When you forge an artifact, you will add it to one of your 2 rows here, and as you get these, you can see you can fill up the row. After you forge an artifact, you can discard all the artifacts from a row and score points. So maybe I can discard 3 different things, then I'm going to get 6 points, and I also have the opportunity to get a rune stone. When you get a rune stone, you can pick which one you want. There's one less than the number of players in the game, and you add it up here. You can have up to 4 rune stones over the course of the game. Rune stones will give you special abilities. For example, this one here lets you have a hand of 6 cards. This one here, instead of playing 2 cards and discarding 1, you can play 3 and discard 2. This one here, when I'm buying creatures, I have +2. This one changes cards that have an or to them to an and. So if I played this card, instead of it being a red gem or a point, it'd be a red gem and a point. Speaking of which, this one here says when I play a card that gives me points, I get an extra point. This one here lets me use 1 gem as a wild. And this one says when I roll the die, I can do it twice. And this one lets me change gems into or and not. Or, you might be wondering what that is, also lets you buy these artifacts here, and you can pay 3 of them for any artifact. You just don't get any special bonuses when you do so. Players are going to continue to do this, moving around the track here on the board. When someone reaches the throne, whoever then has the highest points is the winner of the game. The board itself is pretty cool looking. I like how this perspective that you have down here. The artwork's a little generic. And they use kind of the same art on every card, but I'm not really looking at the art. I'm looking at these symbols. The symbology for the game is pretty handy. The runestones are cool, and it is neat, on your druid here to be able to slide the runestones in and put these on here. And you got these gems. Like, this isn't anything that I would write home about. In fact, I think the die is probably the weakest part of the game. But it's functional, and it looks pretty cool on the table, especially the board. There you have it. It's pretty simple. I think this game is intriguing for a couple reasons. One, this game kind of has a start that moves and moves and moves and then starts moving faster. At the beginning of the game, you're very rarely getting points. Most of the time, your people's first action is going to literally being to buy cards, to get more cards in your deck. However, alternatively, you could start spending cards, kind of whittling your deck down a little bit to get some gems, to buy some of these artifacts, to get some artifacts, to turn them in, to get a special ability. These rune stones, the name of the game, are really cool. I mean, have a hand of 6 cards. Suddenly your options are greater. Play 3 cards, get rid of 2. Have an extra purchasing power of 2. Use the and or. We would be hard pressed to say which one of these is the best. Even one that gives you an extra point every time you play a card, it gives you points. Doesn't sound that powerful, but if you get an extra 10 points over the course of the game, that could literally win you the game. So I like these runestones a lot. I like that concept. I like the idea of playing 2 cards and the higher number is gone forever. So your initial druid cards are all 100 something. And all the other creature cards are less than 100. So you're going to get rid of the druid ones first. Well, that makes sense, right? So you eventually cull those out. It's just a cool concept. I think that's like the most unique thing about the game. Yes, it's what we call a deck builder where you're putting more cards in your deck, but you're also zooming them out as quickly as possible. And it's the runestones, again, name of the game, is kind of where the focus is. What kind of runestones am I using? How am I putting these in the game? And so overall, very impressed with how the whole package comes together. And I like it. So this one, like I said, has kind of a generic theme to it. It's pretty enough, right? But it has some cool concepts. It takes something that we've seen a while, this deck builder aspect, but it has this play some cards and then one of the cards is gone forever. So if you really like a card, always play another card with it that's higher to get rid of it. That's just a cool thing. And then the special runestones increase your abilities. And I know that there's little expansions and stuff for this game. I haven't messed with any of that stuff, and that might change it even a little bit more. But overall, one that I enjoy, runestones. Dice Tower Judgment, approved.
Thanks so much for watching another Dice Tower video. If you enjoy our videos, subscribe to the channel for more fun, comprehensive board game coverage. Also, consider joining us at one of our events. Come to Dice Tower Retreat, a small, intimate gathering where gaming is king. Join us for Dice Tower Cruise, the largest board game cruise. Attend Dice Tower West in Las Vegas for gaming fun on the West Coast, or Dice Tower East in Orlando in sunny Florida. Dice Tower Conventions, the friendliest gaming conventions on Earth. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.